It's time now for County-Wide, a presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. You'll hear about the interesting issues and happenings that affect all our lives. Here's today's County-Wide.
Well, a good day, everybody. I'm Brad Miller, and again, it is County-Wide, and we're happy to welcome into our studio some new friends, a new organization in the Verde Valley, and we would introduce you to Nate and Dee Collins, and they are today representing Trash Dogs, and you can find out more about that and about their organization at trashdogsaz.org. And first, I say good day and welcome, and I'm happy to have you in our studio.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us, Brad. We appreciate it.
You came to my attention here just a couple of weeks ago through social media. And Nate, I'm going to kind of talk to you first, I think, a little bit. On the Sheriff's Office, the YCSO website mentioned that y'all had been out kind of helping them doing, I don't want to call it litter lifting. I think a lot of us have an idea in our heads about folks with the vests on the side of the road doing those kinds of things. What you're doing, Trash Dogs, is taking a deeper dive in helping kind of clean up some areas where folks are camping, recreating, or spending more than just a few hours in a specific place. Am I halfway right? Tell me what you're about.
Yeah, Brad, so you're on the right levels of being correct and everything. In regards to it, we do have people that just kind of litter on the side of the roads, but this, where we're kind of focusing on to start with this, is Bill Gray Road and 89A. It's right next to the Catholic Church, and starting on that dirt road and working in. And it really just comes down to, there's a lot of people that come to the area that one camp, that don't know where to put their trash or anything. There's also locals that will go out there from the community that will just go out there on the dirt road. And what they do is some will camp out there for a couple days, a couple weeks. Other people won't even camp out there. They'll just go out there. There's signs that say no dumping,
right?
No, like, dispersed camping beyond 14 days and everything.
Right.
And there's not a lot of people that regulate it. Fortunately, we had Yavapai Sheriff's Department out there the other week when we were out there. But in regards to it, there's just a lot of trash out there, and people will dump pretty much anything that they don't want.
Yeah.
We've seen tires out there. We've seen fridges. We've seen grills. We've seen human waste. We've seen personal belongings, just to kind of say a few examples. But it's one of those things where we kind of just saw this as an issue, and we just kind of needed to take initiative, and that's kind of what we did as an organization.
It's kind of sorrowful that we have to break down our trash into different categories. Would that anybody would pay attention, and occasionally something will blow out of somebody's pickup bed. We get that. Those things happen, and those litter lifters that volunteer their time along the highways, again, most of us, I think, just visually are familiar with them. But as you're talking about it, as Trash Dogs has realized and recognized, there's people who are very maliciously causing problems out there. You told me, I think, a moment before we opened the mics, people are digging holes to bury the garbage that they're dumping on the forest. Come on.
Yeah, it's one of those unfortunate things, and that's where it's just, you go out there, you never know what you're going to find, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We find, like, last cleanup, we saw a tent that pretty much just had someone use it as a storage out there. We had someone that was out there, a local, that came up to us to say, hey, that tent's been there for the last couple months and everything.
Yeah.
Would you guys please be able to go there and take a look at it? We opened it up. There was personal belongings. And there were other things. And unfortunately, in that situation, when it's been there for a couple months, it's deteriorating our forest, deteriorating our land. And it's one of those situations where we have to kind of take initiative. And that's where we've kind of done that. So
some people even have gone to the point to put it in a canyon so you can't find it till you start digging deeper.
How much effort does it take to do that when you could just drive it to the next gas station dumpster that you're going to?
Very true.
People infuriate me.
It's very unfortunate when it comes down to it that, like, we've had to kind of take this initiative, but it's one of those realities of people just go out there and they will just throw their trash, whatever kind of trash it is that they believe is trash, that they don't want to have, that for whatever reason the transfer station doesn't want to take, or it's just quite expensive at certain points in time, to the point where we've kind of we've kind of looked at each other, and this is an issue that we've had to take.
Excuse.
Yes.
Exactly.
Tell me this now, Dee, here again before we open the mics, but I'd like you to share it with our listeners. You guys kind of came to this because you have an ATV consideration.
So we are owners of Vortex ATV, and we, passing these areas on a regular basis, realized that there needed to be a need. And after talking to other people, there is definitely a need. And so the kids, myself and my 4 kids, we started this after my late husband because he believed that you leave it better than it was before.
Yeah.
So every time he would camp, he'd rake, he'd stack rocks, he would do whatever. And we realized it was right in our backyard. And what a better way to put it all together and have fun. So even if each kid has a different advocate of what they want to do with it. Even though they don't live in the area, it's a way for all of us to come together and make everything better and more beautiful out here.
Okay, so you simply saw the need. You could have sped on by on the ATV or whatever you're doing, but you said, we got to do something about this. You've organized, and now you've done a number of projects to go out and help mitigate what others are leaving behind that they shouldn't.
Yeah, that's pretty much correct. I mean, we started doing cleanups this last spring of 2022, and we just started once a month, and we just go out there pretty much with our closest friends and family, per se. And we just started, and we were just kind of amazed of what we were finding out there, to the point where we took the summer off with the heat and everything.
Yeah. And
then come this fall, we really just like took a step back, and we all decided that we need to kind of get some public involvement. And that's kind of the next step of Trash Dogs, to getting some of the community out there to help clean up these areas and kind of clean up these sites. And
well, you've got some events coming up, and I want to get deeper into that, and we certainly will in our next segment. Anybody listening who wants to volunteer and become a part of it, if you want to help out on these either specific days or maybe kind of jump in with both feet and be a regular guest at some of these pickups and cleanups and events, we'll invite you to do that. I'll tell you this right now, trashdogsaz.org. That's the website. It's a good website. There's a lot of information there, so take a look at that as you're listening to Dee and Nate chat with us this morning, and we'll plant some seeds, and we'll talk a little bit about that and some specific things kind of coming up. I had some years ago, one of the Forest Service personnel on the Coconino said, and this was really kind of with the housing crisis going back a decade or so, that a lot of people, not just a few, a lot of people are living on the forest, whether tent, RV, fifth wheel, whatever it is. Most of them, many of them, conscientious because it has become their home, even with the 14 days and all of those kinds of things. It sounds to me like you're finding that too many people, and we're not going to put a hat on any specific group of people, but too many somebodies now are just kind of leaving behind things that are not, as you said at the top, Nate, just little incidental items that might fall out of the open door without your realizing it. This is kind of a concerted effort to make a mess and leave it.
Yeah,
that's what you're finding.
That's pretty much what we're finding. Is, I mean, that's just a small portion of what we're finding when it comes down to it. I mean, you'd be amazed at what you can find out there, and it's just one of those things where.
Well, one thing we hope to progress too is to educate people on why. Like when you do see that bag that you're from the grocery store and it's trapped in a bush, it does affect plants, animals, right. Even more. Dirty diapers that we find, everything. It does have an impact on the natural environment out there that we really need to stress.
Yeah, it's not just unsightly, which it certainly is. It trickles down into a lot of different kind of things. What I wanted to get at is the way you came to my attention was your involvement with YCSO when they were kind of looking into things. Do you get into reporting at all? If, for example, there's a bag, do you look in there, and if there's, say, an addressed envelope, hey, this maybe it's got something to do with this person. They threw away a letter that came or a bill that came. Do you get into that?
When we do find kind of things like that and everything, we try to respect it as much as we can. We try to make sure that we're organizing it to the point whether it's going to the donation center, whether it's going to the transfer station, whether it's going to like wherever it's going to be going in the community. And then if we do come across something that's a little hazard or personal property and everything, we are supposed to be contacting proper authority, and that's kind of the actions that we take.
So there's kind of a protocol already.
Yes. So there is a protocol technically in place when it comes down to it. And it's just hard because you just never know what you're going to come across. And what we always say to people, if you don't feel comfortable with anything, let us know. And what we can do is we can contact the right authority to the point where they can come out and they can make sure that they're handling the situation as best as possible.
Okay, terrific. All right. Well, you do this out of the goodness of your hearts, but it's not inexpensive to spend weekends in addition to just the time you're giving up, I want to talk about how folks listening today might be able to provide either resources through volunteerism, through other kinds of contributions to help trash dogs do what they're doing and keep our landscapes clean and healthy. So let's take a short break. TrashDogsAZ.org. Take a look as we're moving along in our program. Dee Colley, Nate Colley, our guests. We'll talk more after this on Countywide.
Your neighborhood Jackson Hewitt Tax Service for over 25 years and continues to serve the communities in northern Arizona. Jackson Hewitt is here to help you file your personal taxes. As laws and situations change, your local Jackson Hewitt Tax Service professional stays updated to serve you. Drop off or make an in-person appointment. In Flagstaff, call 213-8626. That's 213-8626. That's 213-8626.
The award-winning experts at Verde Solaire Services offer the trusted Carrier products that help you customize a solution to fit your budget. Verde Solaire is a family-owned business serving the Verde Valley for 38 years. With the Carrier products you can rely on. Carrier AC systems are trusted to bring energy-efficient, quiet, consistent comfort. Call 928-567-5315 for a free assessment of your AC and air quality needs. Verde Solaire Services, online at verdesolaire.com, a factory-authorized Carrier dealer.
Don't let concerns about today's events derail your long-term financial strategy. Hi, I'm Edward Jones Financial Advisor, Matthias Sandoval, and I'm here to help. We can work together to understand the impact of these events and make sure your goals are top of mind. While you can't control the market volatility, we'll focus on what you can control. We can connect in several virtual ways. Start by giving me a call at 634-1044.
Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Welcome back to the program. Again, it is Countywide. I'm Brad Miller, and our guest today, Nate Colley and Dee Colley, and they are at the forefront of trash dogs. Find them online at trashdogaz.org. We'll give some phone numbers and some emails in our final segment so that you can jot that down and perhaps take part in the great effort that they have put forward to help keep our landscapes clean. Organizations like yours, especially when they're newer, like Trash Dogs is, usually, Dee, are looking for resources, whether that be folks with monetary contributions, in-kind contributions, certainly volunteers, I would think,
definitely
would be appreciated. Tell me what you need to keep your keep going.
So in order to grow, I mean, we do have unlimited amount of bags and water, everything else we provide. We do provide everything. One of the biggest things we're going to need help with is getting rid of the waste, the disposal part of it.
Okay.
We are trying to work with I can't remember the name of the companies. We're trying to reach out to them to see if they can help us discount it to get rid of at the landfills.
Like the residential...
Yeah, the Cottonwood transfer station right there,
Yes.
and then additionally the Camp Verde transfer station.
Okay.
Exactly.
Pretty much between both of those, we're trying to get it's just whatever we find out there and just getting that properly to where they need to be disposed.
Okay.
And then in regards to it, just to take a little step back, we do have gloves, we do have trash bags, but that being said, we can never have enough. We're a growing institution right now. We are new to the valley, and pretty much we could always use more gloves. We could always use more hands, more claws to help clean up this trash. We could also use trailers if it comes down to it to help kind of mitigate all and get it off of those roads and trails, per se. And then additionally, I mean, it just goes down to, I mean, any kind of donation that you're willing to give to us. If you're willing to provide breakfast or coffee or even waters for the additional cleanup, it's one of those things where we have open suggestions, and we're pretty much open to any kind of donation that someone willing to kind of donate.
Nate, so you're a kind young man, and I think you're being a little too shy and polite to say money. So I'm gonna say it for you.
We both are about that.
That is correct, Brad.
Let's hit that nail on the head, because that's a great way that folks can do it. I can guarantee you there's people listening right now who perhaps health-wise or age-wise, getting out and volunteering is something maybe they've done in the past. cash helps a lot. I just kind of started, as you describe what you do, I start thinking of the expenses that are coming up. You're working with people who will take the waste. That's great. There's going to be transportation costs. There's going to be things just providing water for volunteers. Right now, you're sitting pretty for that, but that's going to come and go as you're probably already seeing. So I wouldn't, I would not hesitate to encourage folks to consider a cash contribution to help provide all of these materials, whatever it may be, to kind of help grease the wheels and keep this thing rolling. We see so many times that folks come out with very, very good intentions, and because of those kind of deficiencies, things you cannot help that are completely out of your control, that can curtail that. So I would encourage folks to become involved. Find out, kick the tires on this organization. They are new, but they need your assistance. TrashDogsAZ.org. Phone number is 303. Is this right? 903-3447. And then we'll mention also coming up a couple of specific events that people can kind of help out on. Again, you met with the sheriff's office, and that was the article I saw. I'm thinking typically that's probably y'all work in a separate fashion. You came together for that incident because it was people very much misbehaving out there. When you go out and do it, you've got no law enforcement guidance. You're just on your own looking for these hot spots or whatever you want to call them.
So technically, yes, we are on our own. But that being said, we are through the Coconino National Forest. We have a volunteer agreement and everything. So there's a couple regulations that we do have to follow.
Right.
We have fortunately had a couple representatives from Coconino National Forest come out for our cleanups that kind of help educate, make sure that we're kind of doing the things the proper way on their side of things. And so in regards to it, technically, we are independent when it comes down to it, but we do have a supporting cast around us through the community that does kind of help us out and making sure that we're doing things properly.
Okay.
So,
is there an educational element, especially kind of out in the field? I know you got to be careful about approaching anybody that you don't know out in public. All of us need to do that. But have you ever just had a talk with someone who maybe simply didn't know? Here's where I'm going. Debbie Maneely with the Prescott National Forest years ago told me that a lot of people camp at the end of their camping for the weekend. They bag up their trash and set it up against a tree because they think the Forest Service comes and picks it up. I couldn't believe it. She said to this day, some people believe that. Do you ever have contact with folks and get some education and they simply are misinformed?
And so that's one of those unfortunate things about us. We have had a lot of sources come to us with a lot of education pieces per se. We do emphasize leave no trace principles, which is just proper trail etiquette and making sure leaving the trails better than it was before. Right. Kind of like a slogan that we like to use within our company. But that being said, it really just comes down to just us as a company, and like we really just try to educate people as much as possible. And this kind of leads to kind of like something in the long term that we want to do. Short term, we're starting with these cleanups. We're starting to get community involvement and everything. But long term, the goal of it is to be able to have proper signage, have trash cans and recycling cans as certain trailhead systems throughout the community to kind of help prevent this dumping from happening and this amount of trash and this how severe it is right now. Try to limit that as much as we can possible. So
some people I just kind of wonder if think, well, the National Forest is federally federally monetized and funded rather, and so they should be able to do those kinds of things, and clearly they can't.
There's not enough people. There's not enough manpower for the amount of open space lands in Arizona for this. Okay. And this is only this little corner of Arizona we're working on right now. Right. But wouldn't it be great to have more help anywhere?
Yeah, become statewide, and who knows where it can kind of go from
so
there.
We're just starting right now with the Small Bill Gray Road and 89A and just kind of working our way in. But then from there, we're going to grow throughout the whole community, and we're going to take community, like we want feedback and we want suggestions of next areas that we need to clean up. Okay. We have a monthly cleanup per se.
Okay, let me hang on. Let me come back to that. That's in my note. I wanted to ask you about that. If people are out on their own quads or side by sides or in their pickup, whatever, and they see, especially if it's something that's more than just a little bit, can they call? Is there a hotline? Is there the bat signal?
You're getting ahead of ourselves at the moment, but that's a great goal to have a hotline. But they can reach out at the 303-903-3447 number. Okay. And share it so we can go check it out. I mean, we have vehicles and this is part of what we like too. We utilize those vehicles to get into areas people don't normally go. Right. So if you're in a side by side of your own and you see this, let us know. we can go check it out and then get the proper permits and do the process to get everything removed.
Okay. So you're way ahead of me on this thing. You thought it out. I'm still mad at what you said early, Dee, about the people who will seek out low spots or canyons or concealed areas to hide. That's just...
It's aggravating.
It's kind of sad, and it's one of those unfortunate things. Well, I mean, people will bury their personal belongings. People will bury things that should not be buried in the first place. We've unfortunately,
let alone on the forest.
We've come across a lot of hazardous things out there as we're doing these cleanups, and it's just every single time we see it, it makes us scratch our head, and it just hopes that they're getting the right help that they need out there.
Makes you dig in a little bit harder. We need to take another short break. Let's do that. When we come back, we will talk about a couple of specific events, cleanup events that are already on the calendar that you can be a part of with Trash Dogs. Again, trashdogsaz.org. Our guest today, Dee Colley, Nate Colley. I'm Brad Miller. Countywide is back right after this.
Life changes, then it changes again. Predicting the unexpected in life is impossible. That's why it's called unexpected. So when it comes to financial goals, our philosophy is don't predict, prepare. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Matthias Sandoval. A job loss, change in health, or a loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Let's work together to help make sure you're equipped for life's unexpected events. Call our office to schedule a face-to-face appointment.
Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Verde Solaire, your hometown heating, air conditioning, and plumbing company in the Verde Valley for 38 years, and your trusted North Central Arizona Goodman dealer. Goodman is a name you can trust, designed, engineered, and built in the USA. Verde Solaire offers free in-home estimates on systems that are quiet and affordable. Verde Solaire is locally owned since 1983 and available for all your heating, air conditioning, and plumbing needs. Call 928-567-5315. Visit them online at verdesolaire.com. Better, cleaner, faster.
Taxes.
It's that time again. This is Lewis with Rice Accounting Jackson Hewitt Tax Service. We don't sell cars, we don't do hair or wait tables. We do taxes. At Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, we talk taxes and we prepare taxes. Open year-round for tax filings. Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, located throughout northern Arizona. For over 20 years, our local preparers have helped neighbors pay their fair share and no more.
Jackson Hewitt Tax Service in the Tri-Cities at 772-7872. That's 772-7872.
Welcome back. Our final short segment of Countywide. Nate Colley, Dee Colley, Trash Dogs, and trashdogsaz.org. Nate, you've got a couple of cleanup events already on the calendar. Tell me quickly about those.
Yeah, definitely. So our next two events coming up, we're planning on doing more in the future, but the next two ones are going to be this upcoming October 21st. We're going to be meeting at the intersection of Bill Gray Road and 89A, where the Catholic Church is.
Okay.
You take a right on Bill Gray Road, and it's right over the cattle guard.
Okay.
Right there, you'll see a truck. You'll see everything kind of staged up, ready to go for the cleanup.
Okay.
So that's the first one. The second cleanup's going to be November 25th, and that one will probably start at 9 a.m. instead of 8 a.m. But besides that, it's going to be at the same location, and we'll just kind of continue to make progress on the way in from there.
Okay.
So.
All right. Now, if folks who have not been introduced to the two of you yet, or maybe you're unfamiliar even with this kind of a thing, do they need to bring, I would assume, the appropriate clothing for the weather and the climate and water, their own gloves? What do they need?
Yeah, so what we supply on our end, we do try to supply most of everything. So we do supply waters. We do supply, when it comes down to it, all the gloves, all of the cloths that you can need to clean up, all the trash bags. And we also supply, I'm just trying to think, safety glasses and safety vests when it comes down to it.
Okay.
So when it comes down to it, what the public really needs to just bring out is just themselves with that kind of positive attitude, ready to clean up.
Bring that enthusiasm.
Yeah. And then additionally, we do recommend bringing closed-toed shoes and wearing long pants.
You bet.
Besides that, though, it's up to your discretion what else you want to wear. Just proper attire for whatever the weather's going to be.
Like hiking clothes.
Pretty much.
What you would wear on a hike would probably be appropriate. All right, guys. Well, I thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you, Brad.
Trashdogsaz.org is the website. Again, that phone number is 303-903-3447. And then the email is similar to the web address, trashdogsaz@gmail.com. We thank you so much for what you're doing. I know we'll talk more in the future, and good luck to you. And thank you for getting out there and helping out. Trash Dogs AZ, Nate Colley, Dee Colley. I'm Brad Miller, and that's Countywide.
This has been Countywide. Listen in each Tuesday and Thursday at this time. If you have a topic or guest idea that you'd like to suggest, email us, news@myradioplace.com.